The sun emerged over the African plains as the morning air carried the soft rhythm of life across the grasslands. Birds soared above distant trees, while quiet herds moved through the dry bush. Among them, a large elephant stood motionless. Not far from the open hills, Dr. Nathan, a wildlife expert and field veterinarian, scanned the horizon as he began his routine patrol. His eyes caught something unusual in the movement, or lack thereof, of the solitary elephant. Elephants usually move with silent pride, but this one remained still, its head lowered, body swaying. Nathan observed the creature's bloated midsection. A slow tremor pulsed with every breath it took. The elephant was not reacting like others. It did not resist the heat. It did not join its kind. Something felt wrong. Dr. Nathan immediately turned toward the isolated animal. He advanced carefully, ensuring the breeze moved his scent in the opposite direction. As he neared, he noticed a massive bulge on the elephant's side, just behind the ribs. The swelling throbbed gently each time the elephant inhaled. Nathan knew this was more than a surface wound. This could mean serious internal damage or a growing infection. The mature elephant had one curved tusk and tired eyes that remained half shut. There was no resistance in its posture. There was no rage, only the calm weight of suffering. Nathan whispered, "I see you?" The elephant lowered its heavy head and rested its trunk upon the earth. That single moment spoke louder than any trumpet. It was the choice of a wild animal to accept help from a human without fear. Nathan called in his team through his field radio. He explained the urgency. "We have a large bull, abdominal swelling. Immediate sedation required. Prep surgical tools." Within minutes, a mobile unit of trained professionals arrived beneath a cluster of trees. They moved with quiet coordination. Tools were arranged on sterilized cloth. The tranquilizer was measured. With exact precision, Nathan loaded the syringe into the dart rifle and took a steady aim. The dart struck the elephant gently behind the front leg. The creature flinched but did not panic. It took a few steps, staggered slightly, then knelt on its knees before collapsing sideways. The ground trembled under its weight. The team rushed forward, each expert knowing their task. Examination confirmed the worst. The swelling was firm, feverish, and painful. An ultrasound revealed a dangerously large pocket of fluid trapped beneath inflamed tissue. Nathan identified the source a deep abscess, likely from an injury left. Untreated, they needed to act without hesitation. With gloved hands and sterilized instruments, they opened the swollen region carefully. As the scalpel cut through thick skin, pus erupted from the wound. The smell was powerful, but no one stepped back. This was the moment that would determine the elephant's future. Hours passed. The team drained, cleaned, and disinfected every corner of the wound. The cavity was packed gently to allow ongoing drainage. Injections were delivered into the large veins. A tracking tag was placed around the elephant's leg for monitoring. Dr. Nathan watched over the sleeping giant and finally whispered, "He is stable. We will call him Shuja. It means warrior." The operation was only the beginning. Shuja was moved carefully into a controlled enclosure built to resemble his natural surroundings. There were trees for shade, open ground for walking, and a freshwater pool for drinking. There were no fences, only low barriers hidden within bush to keep predators out. Every detail was planned to help Shuja recover with dignity. For the first few days, he remained groggy. He would not lie down. He stood for hours, shifting weight from one side to the other. Pain was visible in the way he breathed. The bulge was still present, but his eyes followed movement. Dr. Nathan arrived early each morning. He cleaned the wound with sterile solution, applied cooling medicine, and checked for infection. Shuja never resisted. His eyes blinked slowly as Nathan worked. There was a bond forming, a quiet recognition between healer and patient. On the 5th day, the swelling softened. Shuja reached for fruit with his trunk. He began to eat slowly, first bananas, then bark and branches. When Nathan approached one morning, Shuho raised his trunk and curled it in the air. There was no sound, but the gesture was clear. It was connection. A bond deepened over the following weeks. Shuja followed Nathan around the enclosure during treatment. He leaned his body slightly toward him, no longer cautious. The pain was fading, and with it, fear disappeared. Shuja allowed Nathan to touch his face, his trunk, even the old wound. The team observed in silence. One assistant said, "He listens when you speak. It is like he remembers." Nathan smiled gently. He chose trust. That is not something you teach. 7 weeks passed. The wound closed gradually. Shuja's body returned to strength. The morning sun reflected off his single tusk. His steps were no longer slow or shaky. There was power in his posture again. His gaze no longer showed fatigue. Instead, it was clear. It was confident. On the final morning, Nathan stood near the open gate of the reserve. The enclosure had served its purpose. Now Shuya's future waited beyond the trees. The elephant moved forward with measured steps. He did not charge. He did not look back immediately. He paused beside Nathan, lowered his trunk once more, and then walked forward. No celebration followed. No loud trumpet filled the air. Only silence as his body disappeared into the long golden grass. Nathan did not wave. He did not call. He understood. Shuja was returning to where he belonged. A few days later, Shuja was seen near the station. He did not approach directly. He remained just at the edge of the forest, watching. Then he turned and walked away. It happened again, and again. A silent sentinel returning to check, but never to stay. Nathan watched each time. "He is making sure we are all right," he said. "That is just who he is." News of Shuya's survival spread across wildlife networks, classrooms, and documentaries. His photograph, the one taken just after his recovery, became a symbol of resilience. He was no longer only a patient. He was a story. He was living proof that science, mixed with kindness, could rewrite fate. Nathan continued his work in the years that followed. He treated lions, zebras, giraffes, and antelope. But none stayed with him the way Shuja did. Because Shuja never asked for help. He accepted it in silence and gave his trust without demand. That memory lived in the golden dust of that morning, under the open sky, beside the acacia trees. Sometimes, late in the day, Nathan would glance toward the tree line, and once in a while, far in the distance, he thought he saw a silhouette with a single tusk standing alone, tall, proud, and silent. Some connections never fade, not even in the wild, not even with time.